Valerie Thaler, and I am in the Department of Family Studies and Community Development. I'm here to talk about a new way of teaching in college, the core curriculum piece called the Towson Seminar. It's a freshman course. The Towson Seminar, according to the Academic Advising website, introduces students to the academic expectations for college-level work. Essentially, the goal is to produce a research paper by the end of the semester in whatever discipline that the course is being taught in. I would like to add to that the need to develop work habits as well as know how to do college-level work. Why is this necessary? Because of these types of complaints that we see and we hear amongst faculty, not only here but all across the country. Students seem to be missing the boat in some respects when it comes to keeping up with their work. The problem is that many people, many of our freshmen, enter college without having the appropriate work habits under their belt. And I see the TSEM as one venue in which to offer this foundation. The core competencies that I'm talking about challenges certain characteristics of the net generation. For example, certain characteristics that I am thinking of include the need for very fast feedback and instant gratification, just getting used to having instant results when one is doing something, having the habit of doing many things at the same time, multitasking. Competency number one is professionalism. You need to think of college as a form of job, form of employment. You need to come prepared, follow the syllabus, keep track of deadlines. Would you go to a job knowing no skills, no idea of what you would be supposed to do that day? Probably not. That would be like coming to class unprepared. So that's the first competency. The second one is focus. Our students are used to holding the phone, getting the incoming text messages, responding to the Facebook, and 4 other things at once. They need to be able to do one task at a time. Multitasking simply does not mean that you do many things well. In fact, usually it means you do many things not well. And we know that textual literacy relies upon careful focus on one thing for an extended period of time. Competency 3 is communication. This is already very much embedded into the Towson Seminar, and that means essentially learning how to write and speak clearly. Every class is an English class, and this is a life skill. Communication skills are life skills. We know that the endless use of technology detracts from not only our students, but our comfort with human interaction, as well as our knowledge of what is appropriate for an email communication and what really needs to take place in a person-to-person communication. Competency number 4 is resourcefulness. We would love for our students to look at the syllabus before they write to us to ask us about a deadline. We would love for them to be able to find answers to their questions and to tap into a university resource. Moreover, it encourages independent learning and also excessive reliance on the helicopter parent who typically does many things for his or her child. Competency 5 is engagement, which means that students need to learn to follow current events, local, national, international. If they are going to vote for the first time, which many of them did last fall, they need to know what they're voting for and what they're voting and what the issues are. Just because our students can connect does not mean that they do. They tend to develop a very small network of connections that only relate to their own personal lives. And I think it's a little bit frightening when I ask students basic questions about what's going on in the news and they don't have the answers to those questions. And I think many of us have experienced that. Finally, competency 6 is self-reflection, the capacity to know one's personal strengths and weaknesses. Our students tend to rush from one task to the next, and they miss those opportunities to think about what they have learned and how to build on what they have learned in the next assignment, how to learn from their mistakes. And we really need to build that awareness into our curriculum. And finally, the concern with only grades without substantive feedback. Our students are very number conscious, very letter conscious, ABC in other words. If you don't know
why you received a grade. They don't have